You got this.
Right. Let's see here.
There it is. It looks so much better.
Wow.
Heck yeah.
Hello, everyone. We're back. Sorry about that. And thanks for catching that, Evelyn.
Now it's a 1080p. Heck yeah.
Fantastic. That's what we want. Okay. Alright, let's see here. Ooh. Looks like we just got followed by Sweet Boots 1. Thanks for the follow, Sweet Boots.
Heck yeah.
Heck yeah. Alright. So. Okay, well, that's good. Yeah, talked a little bit, just checking in, talking about, well, mostly the OGL and all the different stuff going on. But yeah, gonna go forward and lightly play test with some of the 1D&D rules, but mostly hang out, play through a cool scenario, and yeah, see what happens as the members of our company, surviving members that is, marching on to land for the first time, or the second time. Some of you made it, survived the first sorties on land, but this time you come back better armed, better equipped, and with a bit better knowledge. You have a goal, which is seeking the source of a magical emanation that the Magi of the Alliance effort found through scrying and various means. They don't know what it is. They can't exactly tell, just that it's powerful, if latent. I think it's they have directed you toward a hilltop about a mile inland. You all have made your way to its base, surviving if barely, particularly Crenshaw, who's been knocked down twice, but still stands.
I always get back up.
Indeed. Your Commander Brahm is very wounded, poisoned, but still at it mentally. Is able to still give commands, and for the most part, although Kennit's a little quicker sometimes to give an order than Brahm is. Your company Magi is swooning, addled somehow, not at herself. The old dwarf, either shocked or under the effects of some poison or magic that you're not aware of, is insensate. She has to be guided along. She can walk, but can't do much else. There are, if I count right, 5 of your number. Well, 6 or 7 of your number had died. Some of your company had been raised up as skeletal shock troops, covering their faces with chainmail veils once they did. 4 of them are still standing, as Kennit and Thrumnir scout forward, looking for a safe path to bring the company up this pretty large hill, at least the largest in the area. And beyond it, about what sounds like perhaps a mile away, or a little more, you can hear the baying of another slightly larger Lear war party than the one that you just fought. Now, that's broad strokes for certain. But I'm interested in what you all remember from last session. Anybody have notes they're excited to jump forward with? Or I see Evelyn nodding.
Got notes. So we started out this last session in the middle of battle. We had a few people fall throughout the battle, and it was really intense. Some green flame blade going on, striking people in the head. That was my personal favorite moment.
That was a good moment.
But it all kind of came down to after we had gotten all of them but one, who was left howling, not in sadness, but sort of in a retreat, or I can't remember exactly how you described it, but it was kind of just like signaling like they were retreating, but it wasn't in revenge or anger, maybe a bit of somberness. So that was it kind of stood out. And my character Saida, she is a paladin, and she is quite ignorant that the world is unaware of the fact that I guess healing is still possible, because it's widely spread and commonly understood that it's not. So this has kind of upset or baffled some of the other party members and the troops. So I guess now Saida understands that we got to keep that under wraps, and it's kind of special little secret now, I think, in the party, because I mean, why wouldn't we want to use it? It's kind of come in handy. So that's more or less what I've got.
Fantastic. Yeah. Anybody have anything to add? How about Joe?
Yeah. So, fought off a good portion of the Lear, these bestial people who attacked us. A lot of our number went down. Zim, who I play, ended up fireballing the faraway ones, but luckily for his company, not the close ones. And at the end, seeing the healing, he was kind of anxious, a little curious, but mostly like, wow, that's incredible that you can do that, but probably shouldn't tell anybody and do it again, and not be taken and experimented on by the efforts mages, because that's kind of, And then he was like, oh no, I said too much, and ran away. Yeah, and then we rose our dead, as is our job requirements, I suppose. Bring our dead back as the undead, so they can keep fighting, because that's what we do in the effort. And Zim is not really care one way or the other, really, about bringing them back at this point, but is just more curious into how the magic works, as this was his first time having to do such a process.
Yeah, I was curious about how he felt about that.
Yeah, I think as a kelp farmer, he's just like, wow, this is a thing that we do. Strange. And continues on his day at this time. It's just kind of like, seems crude and unusual, but alright. Clearly it only happens to the people in the front ranks, obviously.
Yeah, Zim doesn't have anything to worry about, right?
Indeed.
Yeah. How about you, Dio? Anything to add from last session? Anything,
Yeah, I'm studying the people around me. I'm trying to figure out what makes them tick, how things really work. I figured out that Crenshaw actually, in fact, has 9 lives or potentially more. So I'm very thankful that he stands around and gets hit a lot so that I don't have to. That's working out well for me. I figured out that Saida is just so much stronger and better than all the rest of us that I'm this combination of jealous and intimidated. So I still got to figure that one out. Zim, I think, yeah, we're good there. He and I are kind of like on the same page. Stay in the back, get things done. And I figured out that Thrumnir's got a weak stomach and doesn't like to see things come back to life. So, yeah, kind of getting a bead on where this party's at and who's going to make it. And, so far I'm thinking Thrumnir, probably not. Leader of our cohort. The outlook's not good for him either. He's kind of, like you said, slow to make orders. So probably we'll have a different captain by the time we get where we're going. So that's my take on things.
Well, unfortunately for Kennit, Alliance Effort Protocol dictates that scouts are next in line for command after the company commander falls.
Eek.
Yep. Awesome. How about you, Brian? What do you recall from last session? Or, yeah, what does Crenshaw recall from last session? Or however you want to say it.
Well, Crenshaw is definitely just, after being brought back from the brink of death with magic he's never really seen before, he was questioning whether or not he was one of the risen soldiers, and so he's just, he's kind of contemplating. He's thinking a lot about, internally. There's not a ton of clockwork going on up there, but like it's starting to, the gears are they're getting a little bit of oil, and the rust is coming off a little bit. He's starting to think about it. So
Awesome. All right, I'm going to go ahead and we're going to remove the turns, and everyone go ahead and highlight your tokens. Let's get a fresh exploration initiative. As always, your allies are going to go very, very, very much last.
pretty good initiatives so far, and I think a 3 for an exploration initiative with Crenshaw is very, very accurate.
I think that's on brand, yeah.
Yeah,
Very
the
fair.
dice never lie.
For sure.
I wonder why it doesn't say my name in the turn order.
I'm not sure.
Do you have your character name filled in on your sheet if you go to bio?
On bio. Yeah.
Okay, the tab at the top. So there's 3 tabs at the top. One
Oh,
says-
you put it in there?
Nope. Maybe not. Maybe I'm mistaken. I thought that's where you put it. Never mind.
I'll fix it real quick. Whatever the problem is, this should fix it.
It's appearing for me now.
Yeah, I did something.
I just did. That's me.
Okay.
Okay.
I thought it happened before you said that, but I don't know.
Yeah. So there you go. Awesome. Just we hadn't set up the token for her properly. That's all.
Hmm.
So yeah. All right. So, as your company, you took a small rest, 15 minutes. You all bandaged, stitched wounds. Cleaned them out as best you could. Thrumnir took a pretty good rest while Kennit stood, made this sort of perimeter watch as you all took your break. And now, as you finished your rest, I think we left off last session as you had all sort of stood, arranged yourself. Now, the task of controlling the undead fall to Zim, as Magi Orzume is insensate, and it is being helped along by one of the other archers. So, with a combination of Brahm's orders and Zim's mental command, and as you touch the control amulet, Zim, there's a feeling of sort of weight balancing on your mind, if that makes sense. And you can sort of push that weight forward or pull it backwards. You can hold it still, and as you do, the dead move. And you have an intimate knowledge of how it works. There's spells laid within it that you know they're automated, essentially. So as soon as these things are within range of anything that is hostile, that's aggressive, that's blazing with magical power, or moving forward very, very quickly, they will just simply attack. So they can be pretty dangerous. The scouts have to be careful coming back into the company. It's something you're all trained for. These are not, they're not even, sort of normal undead that will attack anything that moves. They are sort of programmed by magic, and so you just sort of direct them, and they'll act accordingly. You can issue certain commands if you want them to elongate their spears out into pikes, or something like that. And that feels more like taking the weight and squeezing it and sharpening it forward, if that makes sense. This will also make them charge forward. so you have to be kind of careful. They're two different mental postures. You've had some training with it, but you're going to have to make Arcana checks for anything more complicated than walk forward, walk back, stop. Anything more complicated than that, it'll be an Arcana or nature check. You're a druid, right?
Yep.
Okay. So
But
it'll be nature
Arcana's, I think, my better anyway.
check. Okay, then Arcana. Awesome.
They're the same. As they would be.
So
But yeah, so Zim's gonna kind of practice on that for a little while, and then just kind of focus his mind and to determine how best to command these undead. And then he'll just kind of look around at the scouts and like, we're off to that hill, right?
Thrumnir looks over at Kennit, sort of arches an eyebrow.
Is that are they pointing in the correct direction? Is that actually where we're going, or? I mean, I would know, I think, as a scout where we're going. I don't know if they're pointing the right way.
Yeah, east by, east southeast essentially, or west southwest is the direction that you all are going.
It's that way.
Yeah, Thrumnir, that's the one. That's where we're headed.
Right, then that's you and me. It is then. I'll take the left side. You take the right.
All right, let's go. Before we get started with scouting, can I make some good berries?
Absolutely. You could have done that perhaps at the end of your rest or during it.
Yeah, it just didn't have the opportunity yet to say it, but I want to create the good berries, and I want to give 5 of them to Evelyn.
Okay. Have we discussed anything? We had discussed previously how he's able to grow the good berries, right?
Was that the first session?
No, I just assumed that I could find berries.
Oh no, yeah, you can find the berries, but in terms of the healing, so there's something you're growing them, pulling them out of the ground, right? They're growing on vines nearby, or leaves. What does it look like as you summon these healing berries? Is it something that he knows they can heal? Is this new? Is this a new thing?
So I'm playing it like this is something that Kennit knows that he can do.
Okay,
and
awesome.
Has kind of been able to do it all along. And it is kind of healing magic, and that's why, like, when Saida did healing, I was so relieved, because at least I'm not the only weird one. Yeah. But I still don't want people to know it's me, so I'm trying to give the good berries to her, and I'll explain to her what she does, and then she can take the rap for healing people. It's just more ways that she's more clever than all the rest of us. But yeah, so for me, my character on my character sheet, I have a flaw that I don't eat any food that anyone else has prepared. So it's either my food or I don't eat it. I don't know how that's going to work out as a character flaw, but anyway. So yeah, I have a pack full of food, and I'll take out some berries, and I'll just magic them a little bit, and they'll some glowing blueberries or whatever.
Okay.
And I'll give some of them to Saida, and I'll say, these are similar to what you do. They'll help people that are needing some health, but you pass them out. I don't want to.
Can I roll to see if I know what they are?
Yes, you can. Be history, arcana, nature. Any of those 3.
Let's do nature.
Okay. All right. Let's see. He's popping up.
Roll to 17.
Yeah, nice. I was just checking to make sure they're coming up on the stream. Fantastic. 17. This is something that, it's among other, like the larger the kingdom elves, the ones that actually have stationary cities that are rooted down to the bedrock of the earth beneath the waves, it's said to have be able to grow these underwater, and they're like grottos, or they were said to have long ago. It's not something that you or your people have ever done, but it is like just a general, like an elven legend.
I never thought I'd see the day. Me? You want? Suppose I can understand the logic to that. I suppose. Grabs him, puts him in her pocket, in her satchel.
And off I go for scouting.
Thrumnir makes sort of, he's got his brows beetled down as you come by, and he says, "You making a target of that one, aren't you? Smart man."
No idea what you're talking about. None? Zero? None whatsoever. Let's go.
I see. Thrumnir saw nothing then. So yeah, Zim, as you've got a pretty good handle on at least how to move these things, how to direct them back and forth, and so when Brahm finally gives the order at the end of everyone's rest, the scouts have already already moved out a bit. Yeah, you feel that you can take good direction of them, good control of them, and
We all kind of send them out as our vanguard, not to the scouts, but in front of everybody.
Gotcha. They are slower than most people. They have a movement speed of 20. They can, of course they can dash. You can direct them to do that too, but that'll only get them 40.
Yeah, we'll just walk slowly.
All right, so next in the order, Saida. As Kennit pawns these berries off on you, and slips off into the sodden jungle to the southwest. The company begins to move forward slowly, at a very measured, very slow pace, so everyone can see what's going on around them. Everyone's very ready, trying to keep ready and alert for the different things that can pop out of the ground, of the trees, seemingly out of the air itself. So, what is Saida doing as you all move along? Are you concentrating on your surroundings? Are you concentrating on the company? Is there some other sort of spiritual sense that's, or are you, sort of crafting something? How are you?
Saida certainly she attunes herself to the physical world around her, listening for far off noises, crunching leaves, broken branches, growls even. Given what had just happened to their company, she's on high alert in that way. So as they slowly move in that direction, I kind of just, if I could make any checks or something like that, that's essentially what she would be doing.
Yeah, you can go ahead and make a perception check, as you are very much focusing intently on your surroundings.
Not today. Rolled a 10.
Well, you weren't able to gain much information, but to be fair, there is a lot of noise. The storm continues to build. There are, and you notice as the rain gets heavier, there's a sort of changing of the guard in terms of the sounds that you're hearing. A lot of the sounds of the birds higher in the trees has died off, and you begin to hear a lot more sort of croaking and almost scratching sounds from the underbrush and like the bark and lower branches of trees, suggesting frogs, lizards, smaller birds and such are moving down into shelter from the heavier rain. And visibility also continues to drop. None of these things are helping you filter out the new information from the old.
That would be end of my turn.
All right. As you're moving along, your other soldiers along with you, the men and women of the effort, eyes wide, mostly unblinking. The only two that seem even remotely relaxed are this Vasht and RS, the two always seeming to be next to each other, always seem to be in the midst of some long, drawn-out, roundabout insult on each other's parentage or family, or choice of sexual partner, or whatever it is, their bad gambling habits, their terrible hygiene. As you sort of listen in at the moment, they're just burning on each other's terrible choice of tattoos and style, as they both have some tattoos it seems that they regret. But it seems that their game is to not react, or to react to each other in a surprising way, instead of feigning hurt or getting upset. When one gets jabbed with a particularly sharp barb, the other will just make a lamenting face and say, "Yes, it's true." Stepping forward to Kennit. Kennit, Thrumnir and you sort of move side by side for a few dozen paces into the jungle to the southwest. You can see, just even through the underbrush, that the slope, you can see that the slope ahead of you begins to rise. You can go ahead and make a survival check, or for survival, or depending on what you want to make. You can have Thrumnir make a perception or survival check, and Thrumnir can make the other one. It is sort of up to you.
I'll do perception.
Okay, awesome. And he will.
I'm looking for ropers or shambling mounds. I was traumatized by that shambling mound. 18 on a perception roll.
Fantastic. And you see several of them, actually. As you're moving through the brush, you see the sort of conical shape of several of these ropers. But you're distant enough. You can, as you get up closer, they looks like there's a sort of screen of them ahead of you. But as you move deeper into the jungle, you can start to see the distance these ropers have from each other. What at first you think was going to be an impossible screen, you think you've got about a 40-foot wide gap that you can probably bring some of the soldiers through. It might be easier to take down one of the ropers, but so far from what you've experienced, they'll only start moving after somebody once somebody comes within like 10 or 15 feet of them. At least that's been your experience so far. That might not be the rule in terms of how they react, but that's been your experience. So you've got like I said, about a 40-foot gap between two of them that you can bring the troops through and begin moving up the slope. Thrumnir moves along, very carefully checking the ground, sort of stopping you every now and then so you can kind of peer, throw a couple of pebbles, see how the mud and the water reacts and such. So you don't find any more places of grave gnomes or potential bloodworms. So you think you at least have a path to the base of the hill. Now it's up to you if you want to continue and sort of scout the rest of the route, more of the route up the hill, or if you want to return to the company and get the company moving. Or get the company moving faster, because they're moving very slowly, pacing along behind you.
I'd like to do both. I would like to send a message to... we'll send the message to Crenshaw.
Okay. So
and we'll let him know.
Okay, you'll have to backtrack a little bit to get back within range of that message, but you could definitely do that.
Okay, so I'll backtrack a little bit, and can I communicate to him well enough that there's a gap in between the ropers and that he should be able to lead people up here? I'll leave Thrumnir. You know what? I'll tell him to come meet Thrumnir, and Thrumnir will show him the next place to go, and then I'll scout out a little bit further ahead.
Okay. Excellent.
Just to make sure that there's not like a big trap right in that 40-foot gap that everybody's going to fall into.
Sure. Absolutely. All right, give me just a moment. Let's see here. Oh, that's right. I can bring just you over to the area, I think. But, oh, I have a technical difficulty. I'm gonna have to, Sorry, new tech, y'all. It's coming.
Working on it.
You're doing great, man.
Thank you,
You're
thank you,
doing
thank you.
great.
Thank you. So here we go. This should do it. Actually, go ahead and bring everybody over. No reason not to. So as you begin to scout, moving up the slope, you can see that there is a couple of like steeper slopes, almost cliff-like areas.
Hey, real quick, would you mind flipping on the stream that the map's big and we're small?
Absolutely. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
All right. And I think do that.
Heck yeah.
All right, now I need to go ahead and is that it? What the heck? All right. Okay. Took me a second to find the button to interact with this. Okay, that's looks pretty good. So Kennit, as you come in from the bottom right, you come up to a nearly a pretty steep cliff face. It's probably an angle like this. You can climb it. You can also suspect that further over and like over to your a good ways over to your right, further south, that there might be a slope upwards, a better slope, and not as steep an incline. But since you're currently scouting, you can choose to climb up this way and get a vantage point over the area that you're going to try to bring them through, or you could just walk the path that you're going to try to bring them through directly to explore it, which feels smarter and safer to you.
As far as the climb goes, I feel a scenario where if it's rocky, then it doesn't matter. I can try to get up there. But if it's raining and it's muddy and I'm going to be on a slippery, muddy slope, then that seems like a really bad idea. So, yeah, I don't think the whole party's going to climb. I don't think the undead are going to climb.
They will not.
So I think we need to find a way around.
Okay.
But I'm creeping forward inch by inch looking for ropers, not like I'm just striding through this jungle here.
Sure. Now, a lot of these trees look incredibly suspicious. There's a couple that you aren't sure about, so you just give them wide berth. You do indeed find a slope, a much more gentle slope that can be marched up. Oh, and every time I do that, all right, I gotta fix it. All right, maybe not that far. I'm trying to figure the art of pinging on the map on Roll20 to adjust perfectly on the stream. There we go. All right. Where we're gonna be at? Oh, see, I did it again.
All right, then I'm going to backtrack and wait for the party. I'm not going any further.
Okay.
Suspicious trees are no good.
As I said, you move by some of them. There is upslope, because as you sort of come around, there is actually a pretty wide path where there's not any large trees or any large plants whatsoever. There's just some outcroppings of rock. It's pretty odd actually for the layout. For the way everything seems to be growing in the jungle and everything seems to be haphazard. Anywhere there's an inch of soil, there's plants that are taller, much taller than you. And for some reason in this area, all the plants, maybe they come up to your waist. They're sort of wide, almost heart-shaped leaves, a glossy sort of sheen to them, probably even when they aren't wet. There are small, almost little knot-like flowers. They almost look like monkey fist knots, but when the wind hits them, they'll sort of part and open up, and produce a really pleasant scent. And they're everywhere. They're crunching underneath your feet as you walk, sort of releasing this smell around you. And a bit further up, just out of range of your sight, just before you turn around, you do spot another, what you're pretty certain is a roper, in a area where the sort of open path that you're seeing will divide around another little just cleft of earth missing, another little cliff that you can kind of see here. Let me ping on it. You think there's another roper there, and if that is the case, that'll need to be dealt with before you can bring the company through in a safe manner.
Okay, so I scouted a path, but there is a roper that we'll probably have to deal with.
If you're gonna, as far as marching up in a clear way, not having to climb, if you're gonna bring the party up this way, looks like this roper will have to be dealt with one way or the other. Now you could, scout around the hill a little more and see if you find another path up, but this is the closest and most direct between you and your party that you've found so far. But definitely with more scouting, you might be able to find more. But for now, we're going to slip over to Crenshaw. So Crenshaw, as the party is sliding through the sodden jungle, the boots, the mud squelching and sucking at everyone's boots, a constant patter of rain on your hoods and the plate shoulders of the Sorin. What is Crenshaw? What is Crenshaw focusing on? Is there a particular... Go ahead.
Normally, Crenshaw would be, as a veteran soldier, kind of going up and down the line in the marching order and just checking in with morale with the other soldiers and, just kind of talking or keeping people focused, waiting on scouting reports. But he is oddly quiet and just been marching along. Like, he's not really engaging in conversation very much and kind of just shutting it down. So
yeah.
He's just continuing to just plot. He's just plodding along in marching order. So almost honestly not really paying too much attention to his surroundings. He's just marching one step after the other.
And what is he paying attention to? What has him...
In his he's still, he is still really just thinking about that, like, second, he's been on land for one day. He's almost died twice. So that's really been weighing heavy on his mind. He's a professional soldier, so come time for battle, he can turn that off, but the march in between can be very boring, can be very hard. It's tough to walk through that jungle, something he's not used to. He's used to walking on the deck of a ship.
Absolutely.
So, but even with all these strange, fantastic things around him, his thoughts are definitely inward, and he's focused on the next step in front of him.
Interesting. Very, very interesting indeed. Yeah, I'm sure. So, as you're marching along in the vanguard, still, if you all are going to make it out of here alive, you kind of trust yourself to be at the vanguard more than some of... there's some kids, some people that are older and probably, perhaps closer to being washed out than you are, that have taken more of a beating or have far less experience. So at the vanguard, you are directly behind the marching dead. You're staring at your potential fate as you move through the jungles. Occasionally the wooden lurching movements of the dead, you'll sort of get a bit of profile, and you can just make out through the chainmail veil the sort of profile of their skull. And it might be that might be adding to Crenshaw's sort of inward focus.
Yeah, absolutely.
Interesting. People that you diced and played cards with, you've drilled. When you're in the city, you all have a large compound that's called a nest that you're encouraged to pretty much only hang out and fraternize among yourself, among the party. You cook and eat together. You live together. Basically, they've just crammed all of these people of different walks of life together. And likely people you've given pointers to and helped out, caught him cheating in a card game. A couple of those are walking in front of you at the moment. And beyond that, the promise or goal, whatever it is that's up on this hill, and you'll find out soon whether it's worth it. Are there any other actions that Crenshaw is taking?
No, he's just in marching order. So normally he'd be trying to do something different, but right now he's just rank and file.
Fair enough. Let's see here. So at the bottom of the order, about this time, Kennit, you said you left Thrumnir behind to guide them, and you moved back up the hill?
Yeah, I wanted him to show him where to go between the ropers, and I would try to go a little further up. Yep.
Okay, fantastic. So yeah, he hangs back. At this point, Crenshaw, Saida, you can see ahead. Zim, you just trust that you're being guided the right way. If you're around a bunch of people that are taller than you, not far.
50 legs!
Although, you could ride on the shoulders of one of these undead. Give you a better view. Might make you a target, too.
Nah, I tried to ride on Crimsaw's head, but he didn't want me to.
Your, sort of, the higher voice of, Ares sort of pop up. Like, this because Crenshaw doesn't know how to have any fun. Unless it's catching someone at cheating.
Let's go, you better have my back still.
Well, just stay in line. Just kind of a gruff.
Does he still have the bag?
Ares, it is tied to his waist.
Yeah.
It's hanging off the back of him. And he seems to have forgotten that it's there.
Perfect. It has random plants in it, and that's it. Random plant cuttings.
Yeah, it looks like he tied it off like at some point after you gave it to him, and he probably did that unconsciously too while he was,
Standing and waiting.
Yeah, because he was just flipping crap to the other members of the company. You kind of start to see, like, you all can see, it's definitely how these two keep their sanity and keep their focus. You think it might be part of why they made it through the first sorties and are now, one of the vanguard, one of the heavy forward companies like yourselves, because these two have crazy enough to have survived all of the madness. But Saida and Crenshaw, you can see, you hear a low, and a millisecond later, you see a silver spear tip and then Thrumnir kind of come out behind it, and he gestures you. As you all, as the Brahm continues to direct you all forward. You move up to Thrumnir. Thrumnir leads in, and now you see over here we've got a roper there, and we've got a roper right there. So if you weave around this way here and come straight out between them, and carefully now, smartly now, we shouldn't bother any of our hosts. Brahm clears his throat. You heard him, Soren! Thrumnir kind of cocks his head, or kind of, gestures for you all to follow. And sort of gets you all positioned where you're moving pretty much straight at it. Now,
Should we bring our tokens out?
absolutely. Let's see here. You can bring him out. Actually, give me a moment, and I'll show you where. Bam. So, yeah, bring you back in there. And Kennit, you can feel free to put yourself wherever you like. If you were further up the hill, that's totally fine. You can definitely feel, Kennit, you can feel when they are close enough to communicate with. And top of the order is Zim. As you begin to come up the slope, as I described to Kennit, you can see the area is unnaturally even for the most part. There's some broken sides of the slope, but it's pretty even where it's clear, and it's unnaturally clear. There's not a lot of tall, anything deep rooted or anything. Everything here is shorter than your waist. There's a few small trees, or a few trees that are maybe 20 feet tall, but it's oddly clear, and you can kind of see almost all the way up to the hilltop. You can't necessarily see what's in the brush and everything. But, yeah.
Can I do any sort of checks to see if this is, well-traveled?
Yeah, that would be a survival check, which would be a tough one for you. Your scouts didn't give any indication that they saw any other tracks coming into the area.
Nat 1.
There's definitely a lot of plants around here.
This is a well-foliaged hill.
Absolutely.
I'm gonna send the undead forward, but not too far forward.
Okay. Let me double check.
Right out there.
I think I had them set to where you can control them. Did it? Dang it. Okay. No. This should do it. Give me a moment. Yeah, you should be able to edit and control them. There you go. Awesome. Thrumnir steps back pretty wide and hunkers down into, pretty much vanishes into a large set of these sort of spiky, jagged-leaved bushes. Dead continues to shift up the hill, and you see a narrow, there's definitely like a ring of trees that, well, trees grow on most of the hillside. It's just this area that's pretty clear. But you can also see that there's a break going all the way up the hill. Sort of a cleared area. You can make out most of it, although anything could still be hidden in the brush. And you can't see over the curve of the hill from where you are at. But you can see a gap between trees, and it also looks like the top of the hill is bald as well. Completely cleared, as far as you can tell.
All right, I'll just send the tireless soldiers up, and then wait for the rest of the company to kind of catch up as I stay in the back.
Okay. So the next in the order is Saida. As you are moving up, begin to move up the hill, you're prepared for. You've been told there's a roper nearby that you're gonna have to deal with. So how do you proceed?
Was it our intentions to sneak past? That's what I understood.
Oh, was it? Are you?
But if not, I'm fine with that, because...
No, I think Kennit, you told us that we would probably have to deal with this one.
That's all I've found so far. Doesn't mean there's not another way around, but at this moment, that's what I've seen.
Right.
Okay.
There's others that you already snuck past. I think that was what that was. All right. Well, the 4 undead above you blaze like beacons in your senses. But beyond that, you get the sense of a more radiant energy, something from that, how would I describe it? Something that feels connected to the divine realms, to the land of fairy, the world of, for the elves don't necessarily have a belief in heaven, but a place that's part of everything, where everything comes from and goes back to. It's called the place of ever-growth, ever-growing place, the evergreen place. And it is, it's part of, at least I imagine, what you tap into for healing. You feel a connection between the hill, at least the hilltop, and the magics that your family has practiced, this healing magic that you all never lost touch with. But you can't, it's hard to put your finger on anything in particular. It's a little far out of range to gain any real information, but it's such a strong emanation that even though the hilltop is outside your 60-foot range, you can still feel something and feel that it's connected to that place that you draw life-giving magics from.
That being said, I am certainly drawn forward by that energy, knowing that getting through this obstacle is something we certainly are going to have to do. I think for now, stepping cautiously, I just want to move as far as I can, which is 30 feet, yeah.
Well, these are exploration rounds, so you can move quite a bit more than that.
Okay.
Yeah. We're still in sort of, 10-minute turns.
I want to go not far from where Kennit is, but still a little far, a little ways back, just to sort of watch his back. And I'm just feeling very drawn towards the source, so I pick up the pace.
Definitely. Alright. Yeah. Try to open yourself to your divine sense and what you feel, and stride forward a bit, passing even the undead. You may not even hear Brahm attempt to call you back. Saida, return to the ranks!
She definitely doesn't hear him.
Nice. Next in the order is Kennit. As you're nestled in a place, you can hear the company coming up and the dead marching along, nearing your position, and then Saida sort of striding up abreast of all of them. Her eyes sort of locked up on the hilltop above you. How does
Well, I'll take, seeing that, I'll take a look at her and I'll say, "You see something?"
I feel something.
Show me where.
Points in the direction. North. That's kind of more north, correct?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's basically straight up toward the top of the hill.
All right, so I'll start working my way around the roper, being very careful, looking around, seeing what I see. Try not to step in anything nasty or weird. And I'll
Noted.
scout up where she's pointing.
Okay. Again, either your perception or your survival check, and Thrumner will go with you and do the other.
All right, I am looking around. I am perceiving at a 15.
Excellent. So again, as the top of the hill, like it slopes out of sight pretty sharply, about the edge of your vision here. You'd have to essentially move up to here to be able to see the whole hilltop, or at least up here, the sort of shelf above the roper.
Okay, and I'm able to get around without triggering roper to do nasty things to me?
If with a stealth check, because you have to come pretty close to it, likely close enough to activate it. Although you could probably skirt through the brush itself. Yeah, you could move wide enough around it.
Okay. Well, if I'm confident that I can move around it, I'll try to sneak up here and see what I see.
So the sky is continuing to sort of, well, it's pretty, it's raining very hard, and it is darkening and becoming darker and darker. The hill itself is picked out, perhaps, mostly in blue light from the clouds and flashes of lightning within the clouds itself. The sun is nearly lost behind everything. You see at the top of the hill large large blue flowers, a very clean, almost antiseptic smell comes from these flowers. Obviously the breeze from the rain is sort of billowing the pollen all around the area. Rising out from these massive, the petals are about this wide, 1.5 feet wide by 2 feet long, massive flowers. There's other smaller, brighter flowers within it, but standing out of this is a huge pillar of stone. You can barely make out some sort of designs or something on it from the distance. Again, visibility is pretty low. Let me reveal a little bit more ahead. It's really hard to make out much else about the area, just this massive, at least from where you're at. If you got a little closer, you can definitely tell that the whole area, because you can see over to the left, so you can see that does kind of confirm that the hilltop is ringed in trees, but itself is bald.
Shoot an arrow at the pillar.
All right.
Yeah.
You draw and fire. Go ahead and roll that attack roll, as it's still possible to miss something that's sitting still. Oh, I will move that map on the stream. That is a hit. It slams into the stone. The arrow seems to shatter. There's no other effect.
Okay, so no big explosion of electricity or death magic flying everywhere.
Nothing of the sort.
All right, fantastic. I'm going to go back to the group, and I'm going to communicate 2 alternate plans. So 1, if I'm getting by this roper just because I'm sneaky and the rest of the group won't, then my plan, my idea, my thought, we send in a couple of the undead over here, and they try to engage the roper from that side, kind of sacrifice a couple of our former colleagues, and when the roper moves that direction, then we run past real quick on the right. That's my idea.
I think that's a stunning idea.
So that's me. I'll be done scouting for my turn. I'll communicate that to the party and wait to see what the rest of everybody wants to do.
All right, fantastic. Let me just reveal a little bit more, just so it looks a little bit better on Twitch. Y'all can see a little bit better what's happening. Yeah, gonna be a little bit less secretive than I am in my general session, so just so the viewers can see a little bit more. All right, Kennit. Kennit sort of resolves out of the the sort of rain-bent brush around you, and starts sharing what he's seen. So, Crenshaw, as the company continues to move forward, I'm going to go ahead and just bring everybody up a little bit.
As the undead soldiers are moving up, that kind of turns that switch in Crenshaw's head, and he kind of stops having that internal monologue and starts going more back to shape up, stay in line, keep your eyes peeled for anything. And he's just now he's in full blown soldier mode, just ready to react, or waiting on orders.
Awesome. We'll go ahead and give us another perception check to just get a readiness marker for you in case any surprises happen.
It's 14.
Very nice. Brahm's voice bellows out. Up the hill, soldiers! Soren, past the tree! He gives a few other simple monosyllabic commands to get a new, what is the word for that? Basically battle positions, a new tactical positioning.
Formation?
Formation, thank you. Yeah. This time only the dead in the front, and your remaining living soldiers arm themselves with crossbows. Or actually the dead do whatever Zim says, but the living, all of them sort of change out. They stow their gnarls, they put their shields away, and they pull out their heavy crossbows, and begin to sort of wind up the mainsprings so that they will continue to fire repeatedly. And they're sort of a strange-looking crossbow. Instead of a normal bow, it's sort of a half-cone shaped cage. It's all a mess of steel cables on pulleys, and the whole thing shifts back and forth as bolts drop down off of a slide, are put into place and fired off. As one section of the cable is being pulled taut and a bolt is being set, one is already being fired by another section. Crenshaw, perhaps for a moment you notice there's a small, very dark steel boxes at the bottom of these crossbows. These are sort of the magic boxes that make them run, that the gnomes of the effort have. It's basically in your contract that you won't try to open these and see what's in them or see how they work, because according to the gnomes, if anyone who doesn't understand them looks into them, not only will that crossbow stop working, all of the rest of the crossbows that the effort has will stop working. At least that's what the gnomes say. If the uninitiated or the ignorant look upon it, they could break the magic. So I'm going to move the soldiers up a bit. More behind Zeded. That guy's going off the cliff, so he...
Zim will move the undead
Okay.
forward as well.
You all, you begin picking out your positioning and move forward to approach. That's the next in the order. So yeah, with Crenshaw, if you have any, like buffs or any sort of combat preparations you would make, now might be the time. And in fact, during this round, at least during the allies and everybody's the allies round, as everyone is arranging themselves and getting in formation and position, re-equipping themselves, you all can make a single action of some sort to prepare yourselves before next round. If anybody has any useful preparations, it can be something as simple as a ready action, or if you have a buff spell, or anything like that.
I would like to ready the green flame blade, just in case.
Noted. Noted.
Crenshaw's gonna check them in and check the soldiers and just say, just crossbows at the ready. And he's gonna ready his own crossbow. After hearing the order, he's gonna try and make sure as many people are following it as possible.
Okay. So Crenshaw, you've definitely noticed a lot of the younger men and women. It doesn't matter whether they're dwarf, halfling, human. As much as people kind of maybe tradition. A lot of people in the effort have maybe overlooked you and things like that, and you haven't necessarily gotten the position that you maybe should for being a soldier. You get a lot of respect from a lot of the younger soldiers who kind of look up to you as like, holy gods, this guy's survived a lot of stuff. So you can definitely notice again as you're getting in formation, you're sort of looking around at some of the soldiers, and you can kind of tell that several of the soldiers are kind of steadying themselves on your presence, so to speak. Really, the only ones that don't seem to do that are RS, Bast, and Hadreen. They seem to. Hadreen just seems like she should have been a dwarf. She just seems incredibly solid. She just hard stares at everything that she sees. She's human, but she's built like a brick. She's basically solid muscle, but she's only about 5'6". She could be, she could easily pass for a dwarf. But you all know better than to mention or joke with her about that. She's very strong, and she's not a polite person whatsoever.
I'm guessing the couple of soldiers up front are probably the youngest of them, and the RS and Boss and them are probably kind of hanging towards the rear as they've probably a little bit more experience. So Crenshaw's going to reach over and turn the safety off of the soldier next to him. You're not going to kill anyone with that on.
Thanks, Crenshaw.
Steady now. Wait for the order.
That's a very young, very young human. He has a lot of swagger, but then he definitely already would not have survived if it wasn't for you doing stuff like that.
I'm going to see if I can get Thrumnir up here on the high ground with me, and we'll ready Overwatch. Take shots if combat starts.
Indeed. Excellent. All right, how about Saida? Oh, you already ready for Green Flame Blade. I'm so sorry.
Yes.
Zim, you have moved the soldiers up, and
Yep.
Was there something else that you wanted to do to ready yourself?
That is all I got.
All right. Before we step into the next round, I think a little short break for us gamers. I do this even at my private tables and stuff like that, just to give us all a little attention break. It really helps keep the game flow up and keep everybody's attention up. So I think this is a good spot for a short break. I am going to put up a little logo screen and mute us, and we'll be back in. What do y'all think? 10 minutes or 15?
10.
Good.
I think 10 is good.
Okay, cool.
It's an appropriate short rest, just enough time to restock on consumables.
Touche. What the heck?
All right, I'll be right back. I'm gonna go roll some hit die.
All right.
Hmm.
I am going to figure something out, and then I'll be right back too. But first, I gotta figure the thing out. Aha! There it is. And then back in with some sound. Let's see here. I believe that should be us. Something's still a little funny with one of the other. I think just the faces. I don't know if I'm. Oh no, that's. Hello. All right, and we are back, everybody.
We got our music.
Oh, let me do that. Yeah, interesting. Probot is a little bit troublesome sometimes. So if anybody else knows another bot that's a little more reliable, this one does seem to kick out, just quit sometimes. And I guess that's the nature of all Discord bots. But yeah, so give me just a moment to add some of that music. And here we go. Think one more track I'm going to add here. Give me just another moment. Okay, here we go. Okay. Just double checking before we go forward. Do we still sound okay over there on Twitch?
Yeah, sound great. Sounds like the balance of everything's working out really well.
Okay, awesome. Fantastic. So as you all position yourselves, preparing yourselves now to attack the roper, clear the way, and finish exploring the hill, hopefully. As your soldiers move along, there is one of the Sorenmore, has to keep reaching a hand over and clutch Orzume's robes and sort of keep her safe and in position. Sort of a ward that you have now until, well, she obviously needs some sort of special attention or treatment. All attempts made to sort of rouse her during the short rest that you all had came to nothing. She occasionally muttered, but it was incoherent. No one was really able to understand what she was saying. Another troubling thing is that Brahm is looking worse and worse. He's looking really, really pale, sallow. His eyes look a little bit sunken. His hands are twitching.
No.
So starting out with the top of the order, let me go ahead and shift the soldiers back over in a much more reasonable position and rearray them to attack this thing.
Losing you there for a second.
You lost me there?
Yeah, a little bit at the end there. You were describing what we're doing here.
The soldiers are just sort of repositioning themselves to get better formation. And Saida, you can move yourself wherever you like in that. Crenshaw, you can too. I just imagined, you may still be further ahead than the dead, or you may not be.
I think
we're gonna let the dead attack first, right?
That was the idea.
Plan?
Yep. He'll still be up front with the soldiers, though.
Okay. But yeah, Saida, you can still move yourself a little further up, so you're not at the back of the company. You could be another 5 foot square, in that direction if you wanted. But yeah, just somewhere even. Ah, there you go.
I can't hear you. I don't know if that's me.
I can hear him.
I can't hear anything.
Yeah, I can hear him as well.
Huh.
Are you
Must
deaf
be you.
on the Discord?
Not if she can hear us.
Yeah.
She's frozen.
Yeah. I definitely see that.
I thought she was just staring intently.
At least she's frozen in.
Nope.
There we go. At least she didn't freeze with like one of these going on. That's always the best.
For sure. Okay. Evelyn, can you hear us now?
Have you returned?
Yeah, definitely not anything on my end, unless I'll double check.
Yeah, I think the rest of us can still hear you.
Yeah. Yeah, I just wanted to make sure she didn't get deafened or muted on my end.
Doesn't look like it.
No, I don't see it. So yeah, it looks like she's having some either Discord or internet difficulties. But,
We can blame the solar storms.
oh yeah, we having more of those? I know there's been a lot this year.
I just assume they always going now. In other news, they claim the center of the Earth has stopped rotating.
Wasn't that a movie?
Yes.
You know what we need to do? Build a big drill. We're going to travel to the center of the Earth and restart the core with nuclear explosions.
Let's
Yeah,
make that
Russia
movie.
tried that.
Someone should make a movie about that.
At least $100 million idea.
Okay. I'm gonna adjust a little bit on Roll20, yeah, make sure that the stream can actually see.
Stone pillar.
Yeah.
Oh wait.
We can hear you.
Oh my gosh.
I can hear you.
There you are.
Can you hear us?
Yes.
We're all dead.
We missed the whole combat.
Oh no.
We're making new characters now.
Oh no. Did I die too?
There were no survivors.
Oh,
No, actually,
no.
you're the only survivor.
Yeah.
Now you have to do this whole thing alone.
But the world ended, so it's just you.
It's just you.
So Saida will be the deity in the next campaign we play. As she makes up imaginary friends to console herself in the infinite void where she now exists.
Strasha.
I still don't
man.
hear her. Do you guys hear her?
Yeah.
It's
Yeah, I
low
hear.
on my end, at least. But yeah.
Yeah, I can hear her just fine. Interesting.
I don't know what happened at all. I don't get it.
No, I'm not sure either. Well, if everyone's feeling ready, yeah, DL, are you still having trouble hearing her? Evelyn, will you say something? See if DL can hear.
I'm saying stuff right now. Can you hear me? Blah 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 blah.
Nope, can't hear. I'll be right back.
Okay.
On
Bye.
Discord.
Maybe it's because Earth Center stopped spinning. That's the only part I caught of all that.
Yeah, we can blame that. I think that's a fair thing to blame. Yeah.
Okay. Check.
Good.
Fantastic.
Can you hear us now?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Oh, awesome.
Oh, I want to leave and come back too.
All right. Let's see here. Get my camera adjusted. Okay. Fantastic. So, stepping back into it, you all on the, a clear place. It's uneven. It's not even. You're on a slope, looking up the hill. There's this sort of cleft in the hillside that you can see that V-shaped cliff that the roper's sort of inside of. You've arrayed yourself around it, and Zim, and the top of the order.
I send the undead forward on the left-hand side of the
Okay.
Roper.
Okay. Same gear, just spears and shields is what they had before.
Yep. Spears and shields.
Okay. So they move it in within, obviously they have to be within 5 feet.
Yep. And full plate. Yeah, I wish they had full plate. Yeah. You know what? We have decided. Right. So we're going to attack this creature.
Aye, says Braun.
Well, send him in.
All right. So as the dead step forward, the creature lashes out first at them as they step forward and attack. Bum, bum, bum. Now it's Roll20's turn to not want to do things. Well, I don't like this, but I'm going to have to refresh it. But I think that shouldn't mess anything up on our stream or anything else, so... Right, because it's all set up separately. Fantastic. All right. Bear with me just a moment. It's being a little wonky. For some reason it did not save earlier when I set this up, so... So 4 attacks with the gnarl in spear shape.
They're good at their jobs.
All right, 16, 8, 14, and a 5 on a net 1.
I had to refresh, so I've got to open up my creature stat blocks again really quick.
They're the best undead crew we got, and the only.
They're, easily replaceable, though, unfortunately. You have all the raw materials to make more.
Crenshaw side-eyes the narrator of this world. I think he's talking about me.
So, 2 of the dead miss. One of them lurches forward, stumbling, and provokes an attack of opportunity. The roper lashes out with 1 tendril, and it its bulk sort of shifts forward, like it's bulging out in the middle, but it splits into teeth, and this is these are. It looks somewhat between wood and stone, but inside its maw seems flesh-like. But there's no sort of gullet in the back. As you see it open its mouth up, there's just sort of a pool of some sort of liquid inside. One of the dead is grappled. And another one of the dead is... There's a crunch of bone, a squeal of rent metal as the strange tooth-like teeth bite into, buckling and snapping the armor. and cracking the bones beneath. One of your dead soldiers is dispatched. Another is grappled currently.
Great. Zim will then move northward, and that's really all I can do.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll shoot it with a crossbow. Why not?
Oh yeah, it is a bonus action to direct the dead, unless you have to make
Perfect.
a skill check, in which case it's a full action. So that 14, it
Neat.
rasps off of its stone-like hide.
Wonderful. All right, I will end there.
All right. Next in the order is Saida. Your experience from with these things previously, or in your training, tells you have a very tough, very tough flesh that is hardened, almost calcified on the outside. So effectively, it's like someone wearing plate mail on a shield.
Drop that in there just for reference.
All right.
Recommendation: if you could zoom in on the fight so stream can see this Roper in his grotesqueness. I think
Indeed.
that'd be pretty cool. So, seeing the tremendous amount of damage this thing can do, and knowing how tough its hide is, but knowing that we got to take it out, Saida charges forward, throwing it all in, and strikes the Roper with her scimitar in green, which is also on fire and green flame and bat.
Love it.
Oops.
You dash forward, the blade raised high in your hand, wavering green fire licking from the tip of it. There's vines hanging down from the cliff itself, sort of snag the tip of the blade and throw it off just enough so that it doesn't meet the flesh of this creature evenly, and it does skate right off.
Damn.
But the blade is still covered in that green flame. Or no, it dissipates, that's right.
I suppose that is it for me.
Alright. Next in the order is Kennit.
Would you say this creature is large or huge?
It's large.
All right, I am going to delay my entire initiative until after the Roper goes.
Okay.
Did we get our readied actions or not?
Oh, absolutely. You had those ready actions to fire when...
Yeah. I'll take my readied action, but then I'm going to change my initiative permanently, if that's okay with you.
That's fine. Firma would have fired as well, as the dead moved. His bolt skates off of the Roper. Your arrow plunges through.
23 to hit. Nice.
Definitely
11,
hit.
11 damage.
Crenshaw only got a 7 to hit with his crossbow. For his readied.
The bolt sails through the air and the splashing rain. It sort of disappears into the foliage itself. You hear it travel on for some distance, cutting through the verdant landscape before the sound is lost in the rain. All right, Kennit, that is a hit, and you on your next turn you are moving your initiative all the way down to after the rope. Which actually...
Yes, sir.
Which I did miss a trick for. And no, I didn't, because it goes at the bottom. That's perfect. Okay.
I have a question about my turn.
What's that?
Since that green flame blade was readied, does that count as my action?
Oh,
how
you
I
readied
went?
that.
Like,
Then, no, I would say your readied action would have been... And the thing about readied actions, though, is you can only make a single action. So you as that's instantaneous, you would have had to move it. You can't act and move on a readied action. You can just make the readied action. So I didn't catch that. Likely, yeah, something else would have served you better there, because to ready that green flame blade, for that to be useful, you would have had to start out in melee combat with them, in melee range, if that makes sense. Because for a readied action, you couldn't cast the spell and then move over to then hit with the spell, right?
I suppose game mechanics wise I can start to wrap my head around it, but narratively it does not make sense to me.
Yeah, it's not a concentration spell, so it doesn't stick with you. You raise your weapon, and as you slash, green flame erupts from the blade.
Right.
So it's kind of, think of it like that, is as you attack, the spell encompasses your weapon as you slash.
My apologies then.
No worries.
I just imagined it like you light it on fire, because I thought it carried over from attack to attack, but no, I was just doing it every time I attacked.
There are ones like the smites. A lot of the smites will last until you hit something.
Yeah.
So those mechanics are a lot different than this mechanic.
Yeah, those smites are going to be pretty sick for Saida too. So yeah, maybe she would have readied something else instead. Maybe another buff or something else.
They have anything like that, so.
Okay. So then, don't mark that spell as cast, because you wouldn't have cast it. You would cast it on your next turn.
It's a cantrip.
Okay, that's right.
Maybe it was an intimidation effect.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Oof.
All right, so Kennit, I'm going to change your to what is it? Negative point. Oh my goodness. 001. Haha. Putting you down underneath the roper. Or you want to go at the same time, just before the roper or after, you said, right?
Just after.
All
yeah,
right.
just after.
Next in the order is Crenshaw.
It's me, right?
Oh, I thought you...
The roper goes, and I want to go right after the rope.
It's not the roper's
I'm
turn
sorry.
yet.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought.
No worries.
Yeah, our turn order is all sorts of lacking. Blank over here.
Are we not seeing anything on... Oh, we're only getting, like, the top few.
Yep.
Interesting.
I think it's because one was set on the other page, and then this one was set on this page. This map.
Okay. You mean through... I guess I'm not sure what you mean on the other page.
The other map is when we rolled initiative. Once we changed maps, it never showed back up.
Oh. That's really strange. Yeah, it's not...
It's still keeping track of it. I bet if you bring the initiative box out, it'll be right where it's supposed to be.
Interesting. Well, I have it. It's just not... That's
Yeah, it's when
baffling.
it's weird. It's there, but
Yeah, it's just super strange. Let me see if changing to a different scene will do anything. Okay. I'm going to try to adjust it really quick again. I'm afraid to refresh it because it'll make me log back in. But that may be my only option.
like we could also just run our initiatives.
Yeah, it's so weird. Okay, I'm just baffled as to why it's happening, so. Brain is lost in that. Readjust. Yeah, it's not. It's like it's being super weird. It's not letting me interact with it at all through OBS, which I think is a Roll20 problem, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh yeah, this is like the roll 20 turn. The roll 20 turn order. When you switch maps, it does weird things. And roll 20.
Weird. Okay.
Like we could just re-roll our initiatives.
Okay, let's do that. I'll just go ahead and clear it out.
And reset them.
All right. Go ahead and highlight your tokens, and let's re-roll, and we can just put them back in the same order.
No way. I rolled the exact same initiative. That's awesome.
Nice. Alkais. Okay. No. You gotta slow down a little bit. This Roper cannot catch a break without initiative. It rolled the same one too. Let's see here. Alright, now it's showing up and it looks fine over there. That's great. Justin, one more thing. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and take the turn order off of the map itself so it's not in our face. Try to. Alright, it's not going to let me do that. Alright. More troubleshooting stuff for later. Couple more clicks and I'm back in it. Just give me just one more moment. All right, next in the order is Crenshaw.
All right. Crenshaw's gonna stay in line here and fire off a crossbow with the rest of the soldiers. This time, 19 to hit.
19 is a miss. It skates off
Oh.
the thing's hide.
Wow.
Oof. Okay. I have no other actions. My turn is done.
As a hail of silver bolts flies forth from your allies, tearing through the jungle itself, slamming into mud and rock, into tree bolts, tearing through the massive leaves, almost clearing some of the ground between you all. As the noise dies down, you see that only 2 of the bolts have penetrated the creature's hide. The roper then, let's see here, likely the nearest one. Right. its whole body seems to quake, and there was sort of roping, rasping, almost like rock-like, with their barbs and the bark itself. These tendrils lash out toward the dead, as well as the living in Saida. That is a 16 attack on to hit Saida.
If I'm a 16, that hits, right?
That does hit.
Oh, yep.
Make an athletics check, or to avoid grapple. You can make acrobatics or athletics to avoid that being grappled by the creature. You are currently restrained as the ropes, as the rasping vine has sort of wrapped itself around you and squeezing tight. I'm going to go ahead and pull up the description of what that is and put it in Roll20 chat. But just briefly, a restrained creature's speed becomes 0, can't benefit from any bonuses to its speed. Attack rolls against the creature have advantage, and the creature's attack rolls have disadvantage. Also, the creature has disadvantage on dexterity saving throws. It pulls the vines actually missed the rest of its sort of looping vines. It missed the undead, sort of just holding their shields up. Most of the vines pulled on them and pulled themselves off. You see a couple of them snap as they just aren't able to pull the dead off their feet. They make a lurching step forward, but no more. Roper then attempts to bite Saida for a 20 to hit.
Definitely hits.
Saida takes 17 points of piercing damage.
Whew. She is out.
What are her current hit points?
10?
10. Is that her maximum hit points too?
Yeah.
Okay. So it's not quite enough to risk death from massive damage, but you will need a Constitution saving throw versus lingering wounds that I use in this world. Now it's up. You can decide. It's up to you. From the sort of choking, rasping attack, there's some sort of lingering wound that's going to affect her. It might be a scar, wound on her neck that makes her voice really hoarse, and it's hard for her to pitch her voice. It might have sort of partially collapsed a lung. She might have a temporary -2 Constitution checks. We can also roll on a chart, but if you have an idea of what sort of debilitating effect might have happened from this crushing attack.
I do kind of like what the voice does to add to character, and if we could add some suction cup scars on the right side going down diagonally on her face and her neck.
Yes.
That'd be pretty rad. If she makes it.
Absolutely. Now, oddly enough, this almost rock-like vine, those barbs at the bottom aren't hooks. They do sort of bell open, and there are fleshy sort of suction pods underneath. So Saida is grabbed by one of these things, pulled up into the air. You all hear a sickening sort of crunching sound as some of her ribs give way.
She didn't follow the plan.
There was a plan, says RS.
Yeah, we're supposed to go up north.
I suppose that's right, he says as he reloads. Thrumnir, next to Kennit, he watched Kennit holding his action, and he followed suit. Sort of wanted to act in unison with his fellow scout. So next in the order is Kennit.
All right, we're going to go for a hero moment. I like that restrained idea. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to come up here, and we're going to throw a net on this roper.
Awesome. Give me just a moment. As you fling the net out wide. And it's, it's pretty well made. The snarling and rasping vines of this creature threaten to be caught in it. Let's see what sort of dexterity saving throw this roper's capable of.
Net's an attack roll, isn't it?
Oh, is it? I believe what was seen here is... Yeah, it does because it has a range. Absolutely. Let's go ahead and make that attack.
All right, can I use my inspiration for the session and whatever else I can gather up to try to make this good?
Indeed. What else do you have you can gather up? You could definitely use the GM inspiration.
I don't know. I'm asking if anybody else has anything.
Not really. Not at level 1.
All right, here we go. 0 or hero. Net yeet. 16.
Okay, so hold on just a moment. Due to the size of the net, the size of the creature, its slow movement, and the fact that heavy plates of its flesh isn't really going to defend it from being tangled in a net. I'm going to say that 16 hits. It does get its saving throw, however. Let's see here.
If it gets netted, it can't save until it gets an action to break out.
Let's see here. It's restrained until freed.
It's a DC 10 to break the net. So
I see. Yeah.
So basically, the idea here is I give everybody advantage against this creature for 1 turn, and then he breaks out of the net and wastes his turn, and that's all. That's enough, right? That's enough.
Yeah. Excellent. It's those vines are sort of trying to loop and snake through it, trying to push it off. They're just billowing and snapping out, sort of in all directions. Saida is dropped unceremoniously to the ground as those vines and tendrils are now attempting to free itself. Nice one, Kennit. Top of the order is Zim. You see the paladin Saida fall just near your undead. How does Zim proceed?
All right, I'm gonna try and get. So one of the undead is still grappled, yes?
Let's see here.
Or is it no longer grappled?
It is no
This one
longer
looks like
grappled. It let go
Okay.
of both of them.
I'm gonna have 2 of the undead attack and try to get this undead to drag Siada back at least a little bit.
Okay. Let's see.
Let me know if I need to make Arcana checks for any of that.
Yes, if you're going to command one to do something complicated at all, that's not move forward attack, it needs to be an action and your Arcana check. You can use your GM inspiration for that if you like, but
I don't
unnecessary.
need it.
Fantastic. 2 of them step forward. One of them sort of right in between, trying to almost drive a wedge as the other grabs Saida and pulls her back. Actually,
Just like, you there, small creature, get get her back here. I don't know what we're gonna do, but get her back here. And then, before they go that way, I'm gonna go this way.
So as they got their advantage, one of the undead manages to hit.
Hey, good work.
Nice.
And that was my action. I have no bonus actions. That is me.
Not bad. Saida, make sure that you are set to whisper and whisper me that death save.
All right.
If you have trouble finding the toggle, let me know and I can take care of it real quick.
You do. Is that to you?
I think everybody can see it, but that's fine. I think it's...
I clicked the 2GM. Oh no, it's there.
Yeah. Yeah, that's cool. The stream can see it. That's a success, so...
We'll pretend we don't see it.
Yeah.
I see nothing.
I don't know, I hit the toggle, so...
Huh, interesting. No worries. Oh yeah. Next in the order is Crenshaw.
All right. So, Crenshaw is going to so one of the undead was able to drag Saida away back towards the party.
Mm-hmm.
He's gonna run up and see if he can help. Maybe he's gonna look to Brahm and maybe seeing Brahm kind of still shaking a little bit. Look over to Kennit, and he's just like, "You know anything about medicine?"
I got a berry that'll help her. She's got some in her pouch. Come get a berry.
Crenshaw will reach into Saida's pouch and then grab a berry, shove it in her face.
Awesome. Saida, you wake up today. Yeah, sweet taste in your mouth. Your eyes open up, rain beating on your face. The grizzled features of Crenshaw looking down and perhaps quickly looking away as he... Who knows? Yeah. Up to you. Crenshaw, what do you do?
Crenshaw's just gonna see the so she's waking up from the good berry,
Mm-hmm.
and he's just gonna say, "Not so fun being on the other side of it, is it?" And he's gonna use the... let's see, that was...
Wait, what does Saida say anything in response?
You have no idea.
Actually, I kind of do, but it's nice to return the favor, I guess. And Crenshaw is going to use the rest of his movement to go up to here, and I guess he's going to start circling around north.
All right, nice. Well done, Crenshaw. Saving one of the soldiers and keeping that hustle on. The Soren soldiers continue to unload their payload of silver, flashing through the air, many of which miss. In the end, 2 more bolts managed to hit home.
Even with advantage?
Good call. These things do have a very high AC, but that advantage does bring it up to 4. And let's see here. Oh, goodness, these are set to whisper. I need to fix that. No whispering. All right. Go ahead and set this with advantage then, and change these colors so it shows up better. That's weird. Alright.
Oh, I'd like to say, Saida, despite just coming back from the brings of death, had meant her comment in agreement and still feels some amount of remorse for the misunderstanding.
I didn't catch that. For some reason it cut out for me. All the audio cut out for a second. I didn't hear my music or what you said. I'm so sorry.
Despite just coming back from the brink of death, when she was fed a berry by Crenshaw, she had meant what she'd said in agreement, but realized it wasn't taken that way. So now she's, despite even being in the state that she's in, she's like feeling pretty sorry about that in a way that might make her less likely to approach.
Just about the misunderstanding, like feeling kind of awkward and sorry about it.
Yeah, because I mean, she just came back from death, and he was like, "No, I do understand." So, she was agreeing with him, but apparently that is not how it was taken.
Oh, I might have misunderstood.
No, the way she said it, it was very easy to do.
I like Crenshaw's response. No, I know exactly how it feels.
No, that was a great exchange. I love that. All right, let's see here. Strength check for the roper to break free. Wow, how's he gonna do that? That's definitely gonna fail, and I don't think. Okay, it's not particular disadvantage for that, but it wouldn't matter because the roper does not manage to break free from the net itself. It being restrained also can't move. It spent its action. That is its turn. Next in the order is Kennit.
Kennet's just honestly going to shake his head in disbelief that the net's still holding fast. And, yeah, we'll
He and I
I
both.
don't have my... What's that?
He and I both.
I don't have a hunter's mark anymore because I think I think I'm out of spells for the day. So I'll just shoot the roper with my bow.
All right.
I think the stream is frozen.
All right. Let me look over here.
We just haven't moved. Yeah, we just haven't moved yet. Unless we're all...
Okay, let me check. Maybe Discord's doing something.
I'm just reading it from the chat. People are saying it's frozen.
Weird.
It's moving for me. The characters are. We're literally moving the map.
Oh, okay, I see.
Yeah.
Everyone is mid-laugh.
It's
Looks
kind
like
of
it's going-
slowly getting back, yeah.
Mhm.
I just adjusted the map to see if it was going to work. So it's our faces are frozen?
It sounds like everything was frozen for a moment. It's kind of going in and out, it seems like the chat's saying.
Okay. Interesting.
Yep. It just came back.
Okay. Thanks, Micro. Appreciate you catching that for us. Figure it out. Ooh, we got another follow from Aaron Hume.
Hume.
Yeah, Hume. I always pronounce
Family
his name.
style.
Ah, hi, Aaron. Yay. Okay. All right. Let's see. Where were we? Where am I? With Kennit. So you take your attack roll. You said right.
Yep, 16.
All right. Once more, it sort of deflects, rasping off of the stony hide.
Oh wait, I have advantage.
You do?
Still, because the net.
Mm-hmm.
14. No.
Still. Yeah. You hit it dead center, right near its eye, but it sort of hits that stony lid, and you see flakes of silver as the arrowhead shatters, and the arrowhead continues on, sort of deflected off at an angle into the trees.
All right, I'll use my bonus action to cheer on the rest of the troops, and I'll point at a vulnerable spot and say, "Shoot there! Shoot there!"
Nice.
Was Theramir holding his shots for
He absolutely was. Thank you.
Kennit's? Yeah. Just remember you saying that. I was like, remember him going.
He was. Yeah, he didn't stop doing that, and I had. Oh, he gets. That's right. He's got advantage. Whoa! Look at that.
Whoa.
Thrumnir nails a shot finally.
Thromir's the
Nat 20.
Yeah, baby.
Hey guys, he shot right where I pointed. Look at this guy.
You're the eye, I'm the finger. He makes a little trigger finger motion. The whole surface of the roper seems to sort of shudder. Again, redoubling its furious efforts to break through the net itself. Next in the order is Zim.
Alright. Saving all the spells I have. One of them. And I'm gonna crossbow it as well. 23 to hit.
That's definitely a hit.
5 piercing.
So as the bolt hits right next to Thrumnir's, right next to the first shaft that Crenshaw, or I'm sorry, that Kennit sank into it, that a shudder goes through it as if from top to bottom. Its stony vines lash out almost in all directions. They, the tireless dead raise their shields as they're battered by this thing. That trimmer goes through it from top to bottom, and then it very quickly goes still. The leaves turn very quickly to a dry, almost like a white, sort of light brown, begin falling off, already sodden by the rain, and fall to the ground. The stony hide looks much more like bark as it is quickly breaking down before your eyes. And in the next after a few seconds, it looks like a tree that died and has not fallen over yet. All the bark has been removed. The eye itself was shut. It just looks like a knothole now. The arrows and bolts still sticking out, peppering the sides of it. The only suggestion that there was a mouth is what looks like a crack going jaggedly lengthwise across the base of it. Ah! You see that last shot? That was mine, says Aris.
I roll my eyes. Zim rolls his eyes. Did it! That was fantastic! Well thought!
Good eye, Kennit. Good shooting and good thinking.
Saida comes hobbling up. I couldn't just let a vile creature like that get away with existing.
Heavier set.
I think Kennet's definitely a little more in awe and a little more intimidated at the same time.
There's some scary stuff out here.
us, says Boshed. Woman Hadreen just rolls her eyes. Now, it seems Brahm is speaking to the soldier that is holding up, or kind of keeping track of Orzume. It looks like he's sort of taking a look, trying to get her attention, when his eyelids flutter and he drops to the ground as well. He sort of tumbles a few feet down the slope as some of the other soldiers grab him to stop him and pull him back up into position, or at least surrounded by the soldiers. Thrumnir looks over to Kennit. So we've both been in the same amount. We drawing straws for it. Whoever gets the shortest straw takes command.
Sounds about right. Let's do this.
Okay. Roll a d4 and see whatever is smaller, and I'll do the same. Whoever gets the smaller one gets out of it.
Is that all of us?
No, just Kennit and
okay.
Thrumnir. Just the two scouts for the moment. Thrumnir, as you pull out the shorter blade of grass, Thrumnir just absolutely satisfied with themselves. But he salutes you. Good to see you, Soranasa. Well met.
Crenshaw just looks at Kennit. Well, what are your orders, sir? Looks like it's gonna be you.
All right, Saida, with me. You were drawn to this hill. In the top of the hill, there's this obelisk, object, tower, thing. Let's see what you make of it. Everybody else, up the hill. Let's get to the top.
Looks like a stone pillar from here. Sim's gonna try and see if there's any chance of harvesting this eyeball.
Let's go.
Might take some tools to work at it, but you expect there's got to be some sort of,
I have both carpenter's tools and a herbalism kit.
Awesome. Then you can make a check with advantage with either of those tools. You can use either intelligence or dexterity.
Carpenter's tools.
Indeed. 18 on carpenter's tools.
Did DL just lose it?
The most random of things.
And a pry bar, and he's up there like, get this eye out.
It's perfect. That's protocol. The Magi are supposed to take samples of everything they can find, so to help you all survive and make new antidotes and weapons and stuff. So it totally fits in, but it's still a sight as he climbs up on this thing and begins sawing crossway at it and prying out.
Especially because he's only 3 feet tall.
Well,
I feel like I'm probably using one of the dead as a step stool.
You can, totally. They're not going to complain.
Just climbed up the roper.
You're going to get some odd looks and probably a newfound respect from some of the other soldiers if you do.
I'll whisper him a message. Hey, get my net if you can.
Pretty good. I'll throw the net back up to Kennit.
It is very tangled up in this creature's sort of limbs and vines. It's going to take some time, or a sleight of hand check to sort of get it out in one piece. It's not ripped or torn yet. It's just very tangled. In this.
Come on, sleight of hand. 13.
Awesome. So beautiful. So you spend your turn up there. You manage to get the net untangled and toss it back down to Kennit and the rest of the company. You also manage to open up what looks like the knothole, but what you find is a small gray sphere. It looks like stone, but you recognize it as calcified organic material. And you,
And
yeah.
a moment removing that from this creature, X creature.
Let's see here, Crenshaw. How about you? How do you respond and proceed in the aftermath of this?
Well, seeing Brahm go down, he wanted to, as Kennit and Saida go up the hill, Crenshaw kind of stops Kennit and just, "Sir, the men, you want us to form up or follow?"
There's no risk right now, so follow in your own time and get them formed up here. Sergeant.
All right, you heard him.
Awesome.
Form up. Call him. We're going up the hill, slow and steady. Somebody make a stretcher and put the commander on it. We need to get him back.
Boston RS, they move off to the side and they begin doing just that. They begin making a stretcher and get the commander squared away. Thrumnir hangs back with Zim and the dead, just as a rear guard. Keep your eyes open on the other side of the hill. And the other, the company moves forward. What the heck? Alright, so as you rise up over the shoulder of the hill, and you can get a much better view of these massive flowers, you can see that there's a small, like maybe 2-foot lip of stone in a circle surrounding the pillar itself. And you can see that there's like narrow pillar-like standing stones around that too, most of which are broken. Only one is remaining. It's a sort of rotted finger of stone standing up sort of between you all and the pillar itself, looking much more time-worn than the pillar. But they seem to be made of the same type of stone, suggesting that the pillar itself doesn't succumb to the elements as quickly as the rest of the stone around it. As the skies continue to bloom and blossom with the light of the storms above you, playing out in blue and silver streaks here and there, touching distant hills, arcing out of the edges of your vision. You approach the hill. Saida, something swells in you. Something is right about this place. Something familiar, even. Not that you've ever seen it before, but the way it feels is a feeling that you've had in dreams or in your childhood. It's something vague. You can't quite put your finger on what it is, but it's drawing you forward. You can see now, as you get a little bit closer, the pillar itself, it looks like it was intentionally carved to leave some of the rough lines of the original stone, and then moving along, like sort of carved with that as smoothly as one could, accentuating the natural shape of it. There's spiraling grooves, channels carved into the pillar, each one with fine script within them.
Could you move the map up on the stream so we can look at the pillar?
Yeah, thank you. Absolutely. Checking to see if that looks right. Move down a little more. Yeah, the silver and blue lightning play overhead, casting everything in very bright and sharp, lurid highlights out of the jungle gloom and the thick mist of rain itself. That antiseptic scent wafts over you from these large blue flowers. You can see that they're shot with these sort of green veins. Interspersed in between them are other large, spiky almost looking flowers. They're something like sea anemone or something, but they're like sort of lighter, almost downy puffballs that are shaped off into small spikes. There's a melange of different scents in the air, but with it, a scent that Kennit and Thrumnir are pretty familiar with. That's the scent of Lear. Looking far, you can barely, sort of make out, but it's clearer as you approach the pillar. You confirm that sitting opposite the pillar itself, on the far side. Goodness, Roll20's being a little weird, as always. You make out the shape of another figure. It seems to be a Lear warrior. No, not a Lear warrior. In fact, one of their Magi, you think. It is has a long sort of kilt of heavy leather, and it's got what seems to be a long vest of the same. It's sitting on an outcropping of rock on the far side, looking patiently in the direction of the company. As you approach, you see it sort of stand, not ready to attack, clearly, but more ready to slip off into the jungle. The maw of the figure is gray and white. You can see the back of the head. There's sort of bald patches, as if this is quite an old Lear. The only other thing that you can make out is that it has a crystal-tipped spear. It sort of blazes with green light. There's something about this figure's posture that suggests it is waiting, watching, observing you, seeming in no hurry to leave. It seems ready if you all were to attack. But something in its presence suggests that it waited to be seen intentionally. As it turns, perhaps to slip off again, I think this is a good spot to pause for the session, because you all might have a reaction to that, something you all want to do before it slips away. So as it sort of turns, showing its shoulder, but slowly, obviously, curious and not one bit seeming to be afraid. It sort of just barely starts to turn. And I think that's where we'll stop this session. Silver and blue.
There's a little
lightning.
turn on the catwalk.
Yeah. Yeah. I think, that's where we'll pause as time slows down to an imperceptible crawl for your characters, frozen perhaps underneath a streaking flash of blue lightning, your features highlighted against the green backdrop of surprise, curiosity, and grim determination mixed, perhaps in equal measure, on your characters' faces. But yeah. This is a fun session, you all. This is a good bit of, problem solving. Moving through some stuff, seeing some more sights, a curious view at the top of this hill. All right, well, so if we're gonna pause right there, let's check in and see how the session was for everybody. What worked, what didn't, anything stand out, pro or con? I had some, I'll start this time. I feel like we are, this tables, we're starting to get to know each other a lot better and starting to play off of each other a lot. And that's really, really fun. I like any time where I get interrupted for a player to like role play or describe something. It's like absolutely satisfying to me when it's as long as it's not like a constant interrupt in the flow of the game. But when the RP just sort of takes off, or when people are really feeling their characters, and it's exciting and fun. I'm definitely excited to get to this hill and yeah, for you all to see, just to see a bit of this and to finally get toward your goal. And well, I'm always excited for next session too. So as far as any cons, I have notes, and I will be making notes. I was paying attention to too many things too. But no, I think that we dialed some stuff in pretty well. But yeah, in general, good teamwork, and yeah, thanks for everybody on Twitch, and of course Evelyn for helping get us clarified, and yeah, DL and well, everybody helped sort of dial in the sound and check everything, and yeah, it feels better. It feels a little bit smoother. I'm definitely being able to relax more and more the more I kind of get a handle on running the stream and running the game. So so how about you all? Anything else stand out, pro or con for you? How about you, DL? Any pros, any cons? Anything stand out for you?
No, it was a nice session. I like the the map, the layout, having to confront the roper and trying to figure out what to do there. And I like it. It feels like, we do get by some of it with some clever scouting and tactics, and some of it you stuck in a fight, So yeah, no, I like people's characters. I like the Saida's heroism. Like, to heck with it, I'm in there. It's you're starting to get a feel for her character of like, she's gonna do the hero thing, whether it's in her best interest or not. I like that. I like that a lot. Of course, Crenshaw is like, I feel like becoming the informal leader of the soldiers and stuff like that. So, yeah, no, I thought it was a great session.
Heck yeah.
And the net was hero, I think. The net was better than it should have been.
Very clutch.
The net was our hero.
Yeah, I couldn't, sometimes you look at the rules as written and something just doesn't work. And not being able to hit something because it's got impenetrable armor, but you're not trying to penetrate it. Yeah. I had to alter that a little bit. But I did not expect it to fail its attempt to break through a very easy to break through net at all. that was the part that really surprised me. I'm like, wow, really? Okay, all right.
We all have bad days.
Yeah, totally. That roper, it was definitely a bad day for the roper for sure.
The worst. The worst.
It's because it was a tiny net.
Yeah, he wasn't expecting that.
Indeed, no. How about you, Evelyn? Any cons?
If you'd like, I'd like to say first, if you want to make the Discord box bigger now that we're at the end of session, because you did that last time.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I really enjoyed this. I thought it was a lot of fun. Not to be super generic starting out, but I suppose I am. But it's true. It was a blast. I felt like, if I could be a little self-critical, like I don't know, maybe make quick. I felt weird about the pacing. I'm not quite sure. I'll have to think about it more and do some review about that specifically.
Mm-hmm.
So I can't articulate it at the moment. But I've got a couple comments from the Peanut Gallery here saying that one of the most liked moments was the shoving of the berries down Saida's gullet. So just thought that'd be fun to throw in. The chat was very lively today, and that was a lot of fun also. So, looking at it from all aspects. And a curious question myself, can I only eat one of those berries a day, or can I just eat a handful of them and restore those points?
I think you're only supposed to be able to
every
eat...
berry's.
Yeah, I think you're only supposed to be able to eat one at a time, but you can eat more than one a day.
Yeah.
Okay.
You can't shove them in your face like popcorn during previews. Just
You should be able to, but
yeah.
I allow it.
Why do I?
But I think raw you're not supposed to. But
They have the side effect of feeding you for the day. So
Yeah.
if you're
Really full.
if you're low on food, we can hand out the good berries, and each one feeds somebody for the day. It's kind of like a little side effect.
That's pretty cool.
So if you eat like 5, you're gonna feel like you just got out of a buffet, just like, oh, why did I had to get my money's worth, but it hurts.
We're satiated.
Yeah.
But you can only make 5 a day, right? At the moment. Or is it more?
I thought it was just always a flat 10.
It might be 10. I could not recall. It's been a while.
Well, is that one that they changed in the 1D&D?
Not that I saw.
I didn't think so, yeah. Oh no, they did something to it.
10. Yeah, up to 10.
Yeah, no, they did do something to Goodberry, I thought. I don't think they got rid of it, but I think they changed it. No, that's right. Awesome. Yeah, how about you, Joe? Anything? How was your session? Your thoughts?
I enjoyed it. Yeah, I think the scouting is sometimes a little slow, but cautiousness in this world is kind of necessary, and therefore that does tend to slow things down a little bit. But yeah, I enjoyed it. Getting to play a bit with the undead for the first time, really. I thought, they did a decent job at their job. We'll see how well they continue doing. But yeah, I really enjoyed it. It's kind of hard when you're saving that one last spell slot in case something big happens. I also, unlike a lot of players, probably didn't choose the most offensive spell list I could have. So I'm very much just kind of awaiting a moment to use these things that I chose. And I didn't want to fireball
Yeah.
our own undead at that time. So. And the net. But yeah, I thought it was a lot of fun. Panic moment of seeing that thing deal enough damage to drop all of us immediately. But I'm glad we had good berries.
Yeah.
It was kind of fun to fall, and I kind of like the damage. I wanted to add that.
Yeah, the lingering wounds really makes it a gritty game. I enjoy it.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. I like.
Stream...
Go ahead.
Sorry,
the stream just has one of us featured right now for some reason. Oh, did you do
Hi,
that?
everyone. No, I didn't do that. I'm just here.
What did I do? All right, we'll try something else. Aha.
Fantastic. That's all I got. I enjoyed it. I had a good time.
Sorry, I just laughed at the technical stuff.
I got one more thing just to throw in there.
All right, one more, and then we'll step over to Rye.
Micro is killing me in chat right now. I can't hold it in anymore.
Yeah, I just want to throw out a compliment for DM, man. You're doing great.
Dude, thank you.
You're juggling a lot of stuff, but you're keeping things going pretty good for all the stuff you got going on your end. So respect, man.
Definitely.
Well, I got a good team, so appreciate that. We're making it happen together. I'm not going to deflect that compliment, though. Thank you. I'm trying to actually learn how to take compliments, so thank you, and I appreciate that. And I do have a hell of a team, so thanks, y'all. I think this is a good place for us to stop the stream. So before we do, though, everybody, thanks for tuning in, even though, we know most of you, and some of it was us, but there are some people names I didn't recognize in there. But it doesn't matter. I appreciate y'all being here and giving your time and your attention and helping us work this thing out. Y'all take care out there. Take care of yourselves. Like I always tell my players, make sure you're getting some rest and drink a little extra water. So we all need a little extra water, a little extra rest. So thanks, everybody. Y'all take care of yourselves.
Bye.
Bye. Have a good night.